That by January I would be much better, but Oz will still be a fraud.
John Fetterman is hitting back at Mehmet Oz following his debate performance this past week, which of course was limited by the fact that Fetterman is still recovering from a stroke. So I have a couple of videos to show you, and also a new attack ad that Fetterman just released for social media having to do with a very important economic issue, showcasing that Fetterman understands the need to address this particular issue as people are continuing to struggle with low wages. But before I get to that attack ad, let me show you, this is a clip from a speech that he did at a rally the day after the debate.
And honestly, of course, to be honest, doing that debate wasn't exactly easy. You know, knew it wasn't going to be easy after, having a stroke after 5 months. In fact, I don't think that's ever been done before in American political history before, actually. After that stroke, I got knocked down, but I got back up.
So the crowd there showing up for Fetterman, 3,300 of them on a cold, rainy Wednesday night in Pittsburgh. So really cool to see that support. And I'll get to how the campaign benefited in the days following that debate. But look, so I discussed the debate in a couple of videos. I covered it live when it happened. His performance was obviously terrible, but it was because of his stroke. So what it showcased to me personally was the guts, the heart, and the kind of character that Fetterman has to show up to a debate where he knows it's all about spectacle. Debates are not, the best ideas win, because then you would just compare policy, different policies. Debates are all about performance, spectacle, and I guess if you're able to properly articulate your vision in a way that is able to connect with people. So him knowing that and still going into the debate because he wanted to show up, he wanted to show that he has that fight in him, that he's going to do what he can leading up to Election Day. I think it shows amazing character, and we're going to see how, of course, it impacts the actual vote. But in terms of fundraising, it appears to have helped him, and I'll get to that shortly. First, I want to show you his appearance on Joy Reid's show on MSNBC and him hitting back at Oz during this interview.
One of the things we always remind everybody is that by January I would be much better, but Oz will still be a fraud. And, and I rely on the judgment on real doctors, not a fake doctor like Dr. Oz that has spent his entire campaign ridiculing it and counting how many words that I might miss. And again, I acknowledge that, of course, any debate is going to be easy for somebody in recovery. And we wanted to be and thought it was important to be there, and we showed up. And getting knocked down, I always got back up. And to me, that's really at the essence of our campaign.
So that's a great line in his appearance there, that in January he's going to be fine, but Oz will still be a fraud. So I have broken down in several videos how Oz is a complete fraud. Of course, the most glaring example is when he was on television just selling these fake diet pills to make money. And his excuse during the debate when he was asked about that was that, oh, it's just a commercial. What's the big deal? He used his status as a popular television doctor. He used the trust that people had in him to sell them trash so that he would make lots of money. That shows you the kind of person Dr. Oz is. Now, following this debate, Fetterman raised an unprecedented $2 million in less than 24 hours. So an incredible haul there for John Fetterman. Again, I think a lot of people realizing this guy has fight. He has character. He, even though there are some positions in that, while I covered it live, there are some things I disagree with Fetterman on. But comparing these two candidates, it is night and day. And just on character alone, it's clear that Fetterman actually cares. Now, let me show you, before I get to the attack ad that Fetterman just released, he's even impressing some Republicans, or at least former Republicans. So Ana Navarro here, who of course back in the day was a big Marco Rubio supporter, tweets out here, Fetterman aware he has auditory and processing issues as a result of stroke. He could have refused to debate like some candidates have. Instead, he went out there and let voters see his challenges and healing process. Support him or not, that takes courage, humility, and honesty. I completely agree. So it's good to see people like this, just typical, mainstream political pundits, be able to recognize what his appearance at that debate, what it showcased. So now let me show you his latest attack ad on Dr. Oz, and this is around the $15 an hour minimum wage.
Mr. Oz, turning to you, do you support raising the federal minimum wage to $15 an hour? Why or why not? You have 60 seconds.
I think market forces have already driven up the minimum wage.
Again, it's remarkable. He hasn't really had any answer.
And I want to come back to you now, Mr. Oz, for a quick follow-up. What do you say to those Pennsylvanians that he just spoke of that are trying to survive on $7.25 an hour, which is less than all of our neighbors?
And I answered your question directly in a way that would preserve business owners, job creators, so they thrive.
To be clear, you said you want people making a lot more, but that's not through a federal law of minimum wage. That's through market forces?
Market forces should drive it up anyway, and it's already done that.
Market forces should drive up wages. What market forces drive up are profits for executives. That's what we've seen. If they have the choice, why are they going to raise wages when they feel like they don't have to? They'll do what they can get away with until they are forced to raise wages. Dr. Oz is so phony, so incredibly dishonest. And it's clear in that clip, and it's clear in just his general positions. He pretends to be for people. Meanwhile, this is a man that's been completely disconnected his entire life. His wife is a TV producer. That's how he got his job on television before he, when he was just a surgeon. And then his dad also, very well known apparently within the medical community. So Dr. Oz even, he was born into this life as a doctor, got this TV show handed to him, is worth over $100 million. He is incredibly wealthy. And pretending here that $7.25, he pretends it's not enough, even though it is enough for him because he doesn't actually support a raise in wages. It really is gross, just the kind of individuals that can get to a position like this to even run for a Senate seat. Everyone knows he's a fraud, that he sold fake pills on television to make money. Yet he is a heavy contender in this race and may actually win. Hopefully people see through the garbage and support the candidate that actually cares about people.